All right, I think it's already time again. But we lost a few people, I see. But hopefully they put their regional input, and they thought, well, it would be better, or everyone is still eating his lunch and not able to start the computer. But at least I suggest that we will start again. I think at least at my side we had quite a fruitful meeting. I have one signal that there was one region who did not show up, so we will see what will happen there. What I will do is I should.
Sorry, Eric. It was a couple of people in the other meeting because I was connected there. Maybe you can say, okay, go here.
Okay. Good. Okay, so the schedule for this afternoon is that we would like to learn from each other, and I think it's very good that so the region will present to each other what is happening in their region based on the outcome of the workshop of this morning. But I also asked all regional cluster leaders to prepare a very small outline of 2 slides of some characteristics of their region. So I hope they did, at least I did, and I provided an example how they could approach it. So let's see what comes out. So we would like to give the floor of 10 minutes to every region so that they shortly present, and then hopefully we have a small half an hour left to discuss some Q&A. We will use just the chat for that and not another Slido again. But the Slido worked quite well at our side, so I would like to especially thank Dimitra for all the work she did to prepare the Slido for 7 rooms at the same time. So at our side it worked very well. But I will share I will start as one of the regions and then immediately continue with other regions. Let's see how I share another screen. And then this one. Yeah. I think you can see another color. So this is the color of the regional cluster of Northwest Europe. So we have templates also for all specific regions, and you can already see on the front page of what my region is. My region is the Netherlands, and it is Belgium, Luxembourg, the United Kingdom, and Ireland. And what's on in our region? So I also looked up for some stats. We have the European website is holding statistics of the different sectors, not covering all agri-food sectors, but at least some of them. So that's what I have sorted out for, well, how good is our sector in specific fields. What we can see is that in our field, as one of the 7 regions, 14% of all the field crops are produced. But yeah, on top of that list is that the horticultural sector on volume is probably the largest region in greenhouse horticulture and other types of horticulture. Strawberries, the soft fruits, and I think the hard fruits are in the orchards, which is not so strong actually, surprising, but I don't know how that comes. But at least it's also very big in milk and other grazing livestock. So I think that's true. If we look to the Netherlands, we have a lot of dairy there, and the same I know from Ireland and the UK. We also have quite a lot of pigs and poultry, and some mixed farms. That is, these are farms where they have multiple of these sectors involved, and that's also common practice in the Netherlands as well. But we see more and more specialized crops. So our biggest sectors are protected horticulture, and horticulture is dairy. It's also other ways of livestock in the grazing fields. It's pig and poultry. It's also field crops, and it was not in the stats, but I'm sure that also our region is quite active in fishery and fishing boats. Not that much fish farms, perhaps, but at least the fishing boats, the fleet we have in the Netherlands and in the UK and in Ireland is quite big. And yeah, we have not a too deep North Sea, so we're probably most active there. And yeah, also North Sea robotics is a topic in fishery and hunting, perhaps. And we saw that already in the proposals that were submitted in the open call, that there were also some ocean robots, which is very nice for fishing. Okay, then on the other hand, so these are the agri-food sectors. On the other hand, we have also the machine capacity to build. And I think this is also quite interesting and powerful in our region. We have multiple, and sorry that I forget many of the manufacturers, but I think we have multiple players in meat processing machines. And Marel is an Icelandic company, but the biggest R&D facilities are in the Netherlands, actually, and also for a few other pig and poultry machine companies. They are hosted at least in the Netherlands and probably also in some other countries. I know that Tomra is also doing some measurements on meat and poultry, so they are in Belgium. And then we have, of course, Lely as one of the big manufacturers of cow milking robots. Then we have some industrial companies like CNH and Kubota who have the headquarters in our region. Then we have the greenhouse sector, and especially the machine manufacturers. I think they are almost all located in Belgium and the Netherlands, serving the whole world. The AFAG is the branch organization of the machine manufacturers. And also FME is also a branch organization in the Netherlands who is connecting very strongly the agri-food domain and opens that up for the whole food production. Then on sorting of fruits and vegetables, we are very active. I know that Tomra is a Norwegian company, but main R&D facilities are in Belgium and the Netherlands. Then we have Greva and Aveta as main companies, and Ellipse is also an important company for us when it comes to sorting systems, sorting machines of fruits and vegetables, high technology driven. Spectral image analysis, 3D, and we have multiple of them. I did not mention the potato and the French fries, but many of these sorting machines are actually produced at least in the Netherlands and Belgium, and probably also some other countries. So these are the strong areas in our region. And when we map the network, we can, it's a little bit defined. So these are the connected digital innovation hubs and competence centers. So the business members are not in there, but Let's Grow should be there as a competence center. I was forgotten that one should be there. But what you can see here is the yellow ones. These are the digital innovation hubs without a competence center. So these are the associations, but also liaison offices from the government, Chamber of Commerce, these types of companies. The green ones are the knowledge institutes who also play a role in digital innovation hubs. So they also have set out a desk so that they can reach out to SMEs. And the blue ones are not targeting this. They are only competence centers. And I think that's typically our region. So I think we have the branch organization in AgTech well aligned, but also in the end users. So the farmer associations are quite good aligned as a hub in our network. We have a few public hubs, almost covering, at least I know the UK have a strong network, and also the Netherlands. And the Belgium is more powered by the knowledge institutes, I think, and but also the Flanders Make and the Flanders Food. We have many research institutes aligned, top of them on agri-food, the Wageningen, Lincoln, Harper Adams, TSSG. And of course, we have the CIMA as the branch organization of agricultural machinery. But as we are also in Brussels, we also have the agROBOtics and these kind of institutes connected in our region. So these are some characteristics, how our network looks like. We had 23 people in the room, but only 16 people in this case used the Slido. And what you can see is that we have quite a number of robot machine manufacturers associations in our room, which is very nice. Active in agri-food, so they are not specifically on the industry, they are all focused on agri-food. So I think that's also very strong. It also represents the group we had in our meeting. And we have, of course, research organizations, public knowledge brokers, liaison offices. We have robot machine manufacturers inside, and we have some end users representatives. And on the next slide, what agri-food sectors are key in our region? And that's what we already mentioned, that protected horticulture, arable farming, vegetable farming is quite big. Livestock is big. We thought also orchards, but that does not. Perhaps we have to check this. It's a systematic if it's right. We have a lot of processed food industry in our region, some open field horticulture, and some fresh food industry, and then not a lot of aquaculture. We have some fishery, but not a lot of fish farms, perhaps in the UK and Ireland, where I'm not very much aware of, but at least not so much in the Netherlands and Belgium. And there is some viticulture, but it's not our strong sector. So what are strong points we discussed in our region? So we have a lot of new technologies, technology use and uptake. Our farmers are quite advanced and not hesitant to try new things, and that's, I think, a very strong point. And we have a lot of machine building capabilities. We are knowledge intensive with all the research institutes, and we have a good mix between end user knowledge and technical expertise. We are quite active to bring them together. We have research capabilities and also the integration of technology and design of complex system to user-friendly total solution. We can always improve, but at least, compared to others, we think that we are not too bad here. What can we do to boost R&D? We can better connect all parties related to a raised topic, and we should also do more actively. We also discussed we should also use the Basecamp more actively. Companies need turnover in order to fund for the R&D. So how to organize this? So a digital marketplace of available tech companies and also bringing companies and in that sense also the turnover together so that there will be capacity in R&D. So it's very important to organize this in another way, because a lot of is SME driven, and if we only stick to that idea, then we will not bring the millions to really empower robotics in agriculture. So matchmaking of partners will be important, also to attract new talent for the agricultural agtech of the future, share the R&D process as well as the results. So to be able to step in an earlier stage of R&D, so that because sometimes it doesn't look the final solution for one, but for another one, it can really help to make the step to go further, and also to open up money for R&D projects should be one of our main activities we do in our region. Next one, what can we else do to boost uptake? Organize customer groups that are willing to invest. So case by case, bring them together. And we have also some very nice example where end users, farmers, which are in some cases bigger than the machine manufacturer, are grouping together. In greenhouse, it works quite well. In some outdoor farming, vegetable farming also as well. And then together, or only without a machine manufacturer, bring the R&D funds together and then boost machine manufacturing. Post your use case on the website would be very important, or the Basecamp. Ask in newsletter, respond from interested front runners. So be more active in looking for each other and engaging each other to make very nice and bigger projects. RoboCup at the farm would at least improve uptake. Also would be a good idea to have some documentary on YouTube to lower the step for robotics, that we can communicate to farmers, and also involve customers early in the developing process, end users, also to make them part of it, and so that they can, for example, even pre-invest in the last step before they are evenly using it themselves. So this was my presentation. I will stop sharing my screen. Oh. Can I do that? Oh, I already stopped. This is good. Let's go around Europe. Jacob, can you present your part of Europe?
Yes. And this will be a shorter presentation than I had expected, because for some reason there has been different links sent out for our breakout session meeting. So the meeting that we attended, there were actually non-participants. Oh. They might have been attending a parallel meeting, because apparently we figured out later that several links has been sent out. So we haven't been able to conduct our region or our meeting in this cluster, unfortunately. And if anyone has tried to connect, I have to apologize. We will try to have a cluster meeting at another time, so we can go through the agenda that was intended for today. I cannot present, of course, the characteristics for the Northeast Europe based on that. So it will be a very short presentation from me, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. So yeah. I hope you can schedule another meeting outside this yes. meeting to align, because we should become active in all regions. And I'm sorry we did not do this properly. I don't know.
Well, we often have to challenges with all the technicalities here. I think it's a very a good a good attempt to how to divide this into different groups, breakout sessions. I think in principle it worked very well, unless because we had some troubles here. But we will take contact to our partners in this area and see and follow up on this.
Okay, but please present your characteristics of your region. That would be at least very nice.
Yeah, I can do that, and to do it very broadly, I will just share one slide here.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Perfect. Well, this I have not made a detailed description of specific companies and so, but the way that we have tried to divide it a bit, organize it a bit, and discussed it earlier on the previous cluster meetings that we have had, We have a region here which has, you can say, quite different needs and different capabilities, and to group them a bit, we have one group which is you can say very highly automated countries with a lot of technologies implemented, and which always also has maybe in general high wages, and by that they have somehow been pushed to adopt new technologies fast to be competitive. So that's you can say that's one general group, and then you can say on the other end there's other countries which has other challenges and other opportunities as well, that are with large scale farming, and it's often in areas with lower wages, where it is more difficult, you can say, to find the good business case for investing in automatic equipment due to the low wages. And then we can say we have a group which is characterized by some, you can say, geographical conditions due to the climate and due to the terrain. So that's the grouping that we have experienced. That is well, that's at least one way of grouping the countries we have in our region.
Could you also elaborate a little bit on the type of machine companies so I know that you have the Komatsu on forestry, so you have quite some forestry in your region, but also the technology to be able to do that. And are there other sectors? I know that Marel is very active in your region.
Yeah, we have a great fishing industry as well, of course.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of food processing companies which are very, very highly automated. So a lot of companies working with robotics and machineries that are highly automated. But there are of course very different domains, both in food and in agriculture. So because it's very different domains, but yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget forestry in your region.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you mentioned that forestry as well. Yes, sure.
Yeah, okay, very good. Okay, are there some questions for this region? So why not? Let's give the floor. They have some time left. Or to our region. Raise hand, Kees Lokhorst.
Yeah, Jacob, I'm interested. I count 9 different countries within your region. Do you already have contacts in all these 9 countries, or is it concentrating on a few?
Yeah, we have contacts in all the countries on the list, as you saw on the slide. And we have had a couple of meetings online meetings, unfortunately, in the cluster so far, where we have had representatives of all these countries present.
Except Belarus.
Belarus. I think Belarus has not yet been presented.
We tried contacting both the embassies and the business consultants, but we haven't made contact to companies in Belarus.
Okay, looks nice already.
Contact the president.
Yeah, let's talk to him first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at least thank you. It gives some insights, which is quite valuable, I think. So let's move on to the next region, which so let's take Central Eastern Europe, and I can go from top to bottom.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I've had a similar issue as Northeast Europe. Unfortunately, nobody showed up to my breakout room, which I'm not sure why. I've checked maybe if my emails go to spam, but that doesn't seem to be the case because I've sent them the information about Digital Week and our meeting 5 days ago, and then again when we got the links to the rooms. So I'm not sure what happened, but as Jacob said, I will also organize a regional cluster meeting in the upcoming week or two because I think definitely one is needed. So I will again shortly present the characteristics of the region, but also what I can do is sort of give an insight from my side, but also from let's say Stasha, who was in my position beforehand, because we have been working together on the AH activities of Biosense and basically on the regional lookout for months before she even thought of switching jobs. So I can also give a short presentation on, let's say, the open-ended questions that were part of Slido. So let me just see if I can share my screen.
Yes, I can see it. Perfect.
Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm working as a regional cluster leader for Central East Europe. This encompasses, let's say, first ex-Yugoslavian countries: Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, North Macedonia, and Montenegro. And then we also have Romania, Moldova, Ukraine, Bulgaria, and Albania. So it's quite a big cluster of countries, but they're not, besides Ukraine, they're not big in territory. So Central East Europe, as defined in agROBOfood, brings together countries that, as I mentioned, have historically been part of the Eastern Bloc. So as I mentioned, 7 of these countries used to be one country a couple of decades ago. So it is definite that they share a lot of similarities. They carry the legacy of closed markets and the traditional approach to agriculture, and basically doing any sorts of other businesses still pretty much intact in these regions. What is also, let's say, similarity for these countries is that many of them are not part of the European Union, so they face challenges related to borders, legislation, import and export, and of course access to markets, and of course to financial opportunities as well. So this is, let's say, sort of a shortcoming of being a part of any of these countries. Of course, not all of them, since, for example, Romania and Bulgaria have been a part of EU since 2007, if I'm not mistaken, and Slovenia as well, and Croatia, but the other countries are working towards becoming part of EU. They have access to some finances and the financial opportunities, but they would have much more if they were part of the European Union. So the strong points of the region would definitely be great technical expertise and basically top talent that I think has been recognized not only in Europe, but I can say maybe even worldwide, because a lot of the world-class companies have big offices across the region. We are a region where IT is a big focus and it's pretty dominant. And it's, I think it's gonna get bigger as well as time passes. We are having more and more IT experts in the country, both leaving the country and going to Western countries to work there, but also staying here and doing some amazing results. And the thing about the region, as I have mentioned in the beginning, is that they are pretty similar. So we can share knowledge and find similar solution to various issues that we may face along the way. So when it comes to what can be done to boosting research and development, I think firstly it's making EU funds and any other funds more easily accessible, because specifically, let's say in the Balkan region, let's say the basic both farmers and maybe even smaller SMEs don't have a mindset of even looking for those type of funds. They rely on state funds mostly. So I think that if we showcase that there are more opportunities coming from the European Union, that would be a good boost to these actors. And also workshops and seminars, or because of COVID-19, webinars with various stakeholders ranging from students to farmers and company representatives. I'm mentioning students because I think that if you impact the young mind and give them, make them think about R&D even at when they're at university or maybe even high school, then when they do grow up and when they do start working in companies, this will be a mindset that they're already familiar with. And lastly, what can be done to boost uptake? I think the number one thing would be demonstration activities, because people from this region will trust something 100% only when they see it with their own eyes. I think maybe this is also the case across Europe, but here specifically. Of course, another thing is promoting success stories. So both through DIHs, but also other actors in the ecosystem, and of course working on connections through projects such as agROBOfood or any other similar projects, maybe such as smart agri-hubs, and not of course only EU funded projects, but other projects who are working on making an ecosystem of farmers, of robotic solutions, etc. So that would be, I think, also a good choice to do in order to boost uptake. And in short, that would be it from my side.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Marco.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think also in your situation would be good to have your regional meeting somewhere these weeks, and at least also decide on what kind of activities you are, and I have to do the same myself. So we just target now some major points that we would like to address, but of course we have to define exactly what our activity plan will be, and every region should do that. It's also very good to know for all the digital innovation hubs that are involved somewhere in the region, that the regional cluster leaders also hold a 60K to fund these activities also via the digital innovation hub, which are not partner. So we can organize all these kind of activities. We have small budgets to, some pickpocket money to organize these activities. And if you have good ideas, then you are first in line to also to make use of these kind of small funds. But that's dedicated, that's holded by the regional cluster leader. So engage with your regional cluster leader, organize a regional meeting, set up activities, and then exploit these, execute these activities through the network, targeting small and medium enterprise companies or other digital innovation hub to get your region running. So Marco, another question on where is the robotics? I fully agree that in your region, looking also to Romania, Bulgaria, there are very strong IT companies and of employees, I would say, and even universities. We also have them, some of those people in Wageningen, but it could also be a very much important resource. But where would you think that the agri-food robotics would start, and what are the key elements in your region where we can really see where robotics is happening in your region?
Well, I think definitely it will be mostly regarding arable farming and also horticulture. Here, again, specifically in the Balkans, but I think it's also for the entire region. people are, let's say, still used to a lot of manual work. So it would be, best to, it's in the early stages, let's say, of robotics. So the primary thing would be to just, as I mentioned, potentially do demonstration activities in order to showcase why it would be better to transfer to, let's say, robotics and to more, let's say, mechanized approach to both arable farming and horticulture, because it would be both time saving and in the end it would save them money. But until they see it, I think maybe it would be hard for let's say the basic farmer from this region to actually believe it.
Okay, yeah. But of course, it's a big region. So also from that perspective, if we have robots that work, we could help to expand the uptake of robotics, at least in your region. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we run to the next one. And on my list, this is Central North Europe, which is Germany and a few other countries. So it should be Ahmad, I think.
Yes.
Floor is yours. Yes.
My screen. Can you see my screen?
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm presenting to you today the Central North Europe region. So basically Germany, Poland, Czech Republic, Austria, Switzerland, Slovakia, and Hungary. During the breakout session, unfortunately, we only had 3 people present. I don't know why, but that was the case. But we have collected some really good ideas and feedback, so that I'm going to share with you today. So first of all, the regional characteristics. In our region, it's very interesting to see that the number of farms in Central Europe is around 22% of the farms in EU, with 30% of the labor force in the agriculture sector or the agri-food sector, and around 25% of the standard output of the overall EU. The main areas are livestock, horticulture, wine, and arable farming. You have a very heterogeneous region where some countries have focused on some like livestock, while others are focusing more on the arable. But for instance, the wine and the vineyards is basically in almost every country in the Central Europe region. And another important characteristics of the region is a very advanced or important research and innovation around robotics. And this, combined with the importance of the agri-food sector in the region, you have a lot of willing to adopt robotics into the agriculture. We have also some of the very big and famous agriculture machinery equipment manufacturers, such as John Deere and Claas in the region. We have also organizations around standardization, like DKE in Germany, and we have other associations like the Agriculture Industry Electronics Foundation, which are part of our network. As you can see, from the total output per farm point of view, we have the pigs and poultry and livestock in general as the main sector from the average output per farm compared with the other areas. As I said, the livestock is a very important sector in our region. So for our network, what we have at the moment, we have a combination of stakeholders representing different types of organizations. So we have RTOs in universities, robots manufacturers, component and IT suppliers, some organizations who provide test fields for robotics. We have, as I said, DKE as a standardization body. We have also some agriculture machinery manufacturers and so on, and some farmers associations. If you look at who registered, maybe you don't find all representatives of those stakeholders. However, over the past 6 months, we have been working together with all these types of stakeholders, whether through the open call or even before and after. What we have found is that it's really hard to convince them to register. And this is something we will discuss maybe later after.
Yeah.
So who was in the room? We had 2 research organizations or competence centers and 1 component and IT. From the representatives in the room, those are the main sectors that are key in our region. And as you can see, this is very consistent with what we have shown you in the regional characteristics. So arable farming, livestock are the majority. You have also horticulture, viticulture, which is basically wine, processed food industry, and so on. Those are the top 5. However, that doesn't mean that we don't have a focus on others, but those are. So what are the strong points of the region? As I said, in our region, we have a strong network of robotics research and innovation. And this covers many sectors, not just the agriculture. You have different types of organizations around robotics, whether they are applied research organizations or universities, with a lot of very highly skilled robotics developers. So this technical expertise is mixed with what we call willing to collaborate. And this is something I think it is very important in order to introduce and boost the uptake of robotics in the region, where you have end users coming to us, especially in the last 6 months during the pandemic, asking us for any robotics solutions that they can test and try in the fields, because either there are no workers because of COVID, or they have realized that they need this in order to boost their fields. So this combination is boosting the uptake of the robotics technologies in agriculture. However, of course, there are some barriers and burdens. What's also interesting and very strong point in the region is the support infrastructure of startups, especially the ones who are in the robotics area. You have many incubators, other support mechanisms for either spin-off companies.
Ahmad, sometimes we cannot hear you very well. Could you at least come close to the microphone?
What about now? Is it better?
Yeah, better. It's better.
Okay. Okay. We have a very good support infrastructure for startups in the region. So you have either incubators, many incubators, especially in the robotics, or you have from big companies or from applied research organizations, support for many robotics spin-offs. And this is, I think, is very important for the region to help them and to help to boost the uptake of the robotics in the agriculture. As I said, the Central North Europe is a heterogeneous region. This brings many advantages and disadvantages. So basically, we can bring and combine strong points from various countries. However, we have different problems to solve. For example, in countries like Switzerland, Germany, and Austria, the cost of labor is sometimes 6 times what you have in Poland or Slovakia or Hungary in the agriculture sector. So the types of problems are different and the types of challenges are different. However, we can see that we can learn from each other. So solutions in Poland, in Hungary, and Slovakia that focus on the cost efficiency of using robotics in the agriculture can benefit a lot in the other. So what are the suggestions from the participants to boost the R&D? So they are encouraging collaboration between different entities, especially CCs, either amongst themselves or with innovative startups. Because we, as I said, we have many innovative startups that are supported in the region. Connecting the already existing networks in the agro or robotics on a national level to the agROBOfood. So some of the participants, they said in their country, in their own country, there is already kind of an initiative or a network for robotics in the agriculture. Why not connect it to agROBOfood instead of reinvent the wheel and connect and create our own network? Also, as mentioned by others, by you and other regional cluster leaders, matchmaking was very important. And also the financial support. And I have a kind of a question mark there because on a national level, there's a lot of R&D support, financial support. This doesn't happen if you have 2 countries working together unless they go through Horizon 2020 or similar initiatives. How can then we have financial support for such collaboration around R&D? I don't know. Regional fundings are usually focused on the region or on the national level. What about cross regions? We need to think about this. What to do to boost the uptake? Many of these have been already mentioned, like first demonstration activities and success stories, organized webinars or workshops with existing events. So if there's an event we are aware of, then
stay close to the microphone, Ahmad.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Is it better now again?
Yeah, again.
Okay. So organize webinars and workshops within existing events. So for example, if we are aware of such events, contact them, have a session around agROBOfood, introduce the network and the benefits within such events, plus a targeted social media campaign using different methods, which we have already been working on. Something very important, I think, also came up during the discussion is on a country level, especially we have problems with the localization of service regarding maybe some language barriers with the farmers. Then specific dedicated DIH nodes within the countries can organize a country level event or a country level webinar where they explain the network, explain the services that are provided to the stakeholders within that. Of course, also hackathons and involving end users, etc. I think that's it from us. Thank you very much. Your mic is muted.
Yes, I can see it's very good. No, if I may comment on a few, thank you very much, Ahmad. You have a very strong region, of course, when it comes to technology. One question: is it easy for foreign startups to get a place, a location, or a basis in a German incubator? Is it possible, or how does that work? Do you know that?
I'm not 100% sure about this, but on a country level, in every country, like in Switzerland, in Austria, in Germany, and other countries within this region, you have within the national level, you have a lot of incubator support for startups. But cross countries, I am not sure. I need to find out.
Yeah, and perhaps I fully agree. Then the other remark I would like to make, so you have all the kind of access to finance, and also on national level, regional level, cross-regional level. In the Netherlands, we are also quite open for foreign investors. So when the knowledge basis is done in the Netherlands, then it's fine to do it in the Netherlands. You will also provide some, you can also receive some money from the Dutch government, even as a foreign company. But yeah, depends on what kind of country you are, of course. At least it's all different, and we should make it perhaps more clear on how it is organized. And yeah, I also hope that please organize all the activities as local as possible, because I'm pretty sure that for an SME, when something is local, he is much more engaged to be part of it than it's pan-European. So that's why we have these regions and also sub-regions. So everyone, and not only for Ahmad, everyone is of course free also to organize on the national level activities with SMEs. Please do so on as local as possible, and yeah, try to interest them for the broader Europe when they are lacking knowledge in their specific small region.
Just one final comment before two points or two questions to agROBOfood were put into the Slido. One is Basecamp is very complicated and daunting and annoying for many participants. Should we limit this to only the regional cluster folder or not?
Yeah.
So the only things that they receive, they are in the folder, and then the regional cluster leaders, if they find something interesting from other areas within Basecamp, they can post it again within the regional cluster folder.
Yeah, I think they can even unsubscribe them from specific groups, but let's dive into that and come with some advice, because I fully agree that it should not be, it's also sometimes annoying for me, so I know exactly what they mean.
Yeah.
When there are coming so much messages around, and you only would like to target the most valuable ones, and these are for most of you the specific regional ones. So let's discuss it in the project steering group, because I fully agree that we have some, we need to organize there something. Yeah.
And the other point is, if we can have like a kind of a short or concise introduction video to the network tools or possibilities for new joiners. So basically,
yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah,
we should do that.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you very much, Ahmad. Okay, let's immediately go to the next one, which is Iberia.
Hello.
Fernand.
Hello, good morning. Let's.
You were not alone, at least.
Let's share my screen. Wait a minute, please. Okay. Whoops. Screen one, screen. Oh. Okay. Do you see?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Perfect.
Thanks. In the Iberian room was, I think, 9 people from different parts of Spain and Portugal. And we talk a little bit about the network. We identified, this is the official DIA Gen Competence Center from the European Commission. We identified a little bit our network. We talked about how to grow it and how to exploit the strong points. Who was in the room? Mainly research organization and competence centers, but also robot machine manufacturer and private knowledge broker. They are the people there. There was a couple, I think 3 SMEs from the open call and rest for partners from the project. We talk about the key sectors of the region, and we can see here that the main one is the viticulture, because you know that Spain is there are a lot of fields from a lot of companies selling and producing very, very good wine, but also livestock and orchard like apples and pears, for example, and also processed fruit industry. This is the answers. Okay, about the strong points of the region, we focused more in the typology of the region. We have a high variety of crops, orchards, with a high value of high-value crops, having the royal and extensive crop. We have a very good weather for rise all these crops. Like the wine, the wine quality is very, very high in Spain and Portugal, and we also have big companies, maybe not as much big that the other regions, because this is a thing that we talk about. This was because we have high expertise in digital technologies, digitalization companies. Most of them SMEs and competence and also the AHs, but we detect a lack of big hardware manufacturers, which is because I don't know why. Maybe it's not. We are focused on more digital technologies, not the hardware one, but we talked about this. Some of the answers that we received in the meeting, how to boost the research and development. We think that we have the pilot projects to show the technology, and also would be very good to have long-term pilots, because one of the members says that it's very difficult to find to test the products and to find places where for example, the owner share you the field from 1 year to take a lot of data to improve. This is quite difficult, and we think that using agROBOfood network, it could be a thing that can be solved or at least boosted. And also we think that boost smaller projects that are more close to the market, because there is a lot of small companies trying to sell technology, trying to develop technology, but they need not very, very huge European project with 3 million euros, but also a small push to arrive to the market. And I think we think that this is one of the main targets of agROBOfood, trying to help these companies to arrive to the market. And finally, we have been talking extensively to how to boost the uptake from the community, the agri-food community. Some things we need to boost the networks to achieve all the stakeholders working together, because there is a lot of stakeholders, there is a lot of companies, but it seems like are working very separately, selling the same thing or trying to do projects in parallel to arrive in the same thing. Maybe you have to join the efforts to create synergies to achieve better results. And this is will happen. We think that improving the communication, and we think that the agROBOfood could be in the center of this goal, trying to connect these small stakeholders to work together. What's more, for example, is make it all this market driven, because people don't trust the economical value of the investment if they don't see it. It's one of the things that it's shown. Then yes, this is a good question. In order to engage the farmer or the client, possibility to sell things, they propose that an auditor entity that provides the approval of some this entity that audit the technology that is presented. I mean that every seller or every technology provider can go to the farmer and, okay, this is my product, this is very good, but it's sometimes difficult to trust this. And the figure of an external, maybe public entity that audits this technology could help to arrive to more stakeholders. And also more interactive session with the user and demonstration. This is another thing that continuously appearing to the requirements, having more demonstrations to try to arrive more in the market, and also technical advisors for farmers, because sometimes the technology is too difficult for the end users to be used, and could be good that these technical advisors help for the technology adoption. And finally, some ideas from the agROBOfood to the agROBOfood consortium. This is another recurrent idea, having more number of funded projects, but smaller, in the open calls, because there was a lot of money, for example, in this last open call, but only 6 projects was funded. And maybe the idea for the next one could be having more projects, but with a small budget, in order to arrive to more companies. Then actively grow the network and be more proactive to move the connection between the different actors of the system, because some of them says that they have a lot of small companies working, but they are invisible to the market, because they doesn't have the power to arrive to all the possible clients that use the agROBOfood network to do this. And then the last thing was try to act as a lobby to involve the governments to promote the technology adoptions, using, for example, changing some laws and avoiding some taxes if some technology is used or something like this. As a agROBOfood network, as a very huge network that is agROBOfood, we think that could be you can push more the main governments to try to help on this, because we think that could be very useful for adoption of technology. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, very, very nice. Also very good points to take with us and also to discuss further. One is to make the budget small so that you can grant more proposals. I fully agree that we should be able to, that we have a lack of, that we have too many proposals to provide money. On the other hand, we would like to fund high TRL projects that can scale, and normally big investments are used for scaling as well. So how, because you can also give too less and only some pick money, and then they make a small step again, and then they cannot really exploit the success of their robot. So that's always the difficulty, of course. We choose to go for high TRLs to have at least also some successes in the market, so that they can really power. So it's perhaps also a matter of of finding and providing access to money and in other ways, so that they can have that money. And yeah, I was sadly involved in the Saga project before they acquired 9.5 million of venture capital. I think these are really the numbers that companies are needs when they are about to go from prototype to scaling. And so I think it's even way too less, but it's at least a nice startup. And of course, this is also the situation where they should scale towards venture capital and other ways of and other sources of funding. But it's always a discussion. You can do a little bit, but then you have the one person company, and yeah, not coming to the commercial product will be provide a lot of discussion. At least we should provide access to funds and do that in a very good way, especially for the ones that are not granted yet. Other questions to Ferran? One chance. No. Then we move on to the next one, which is, I think we have 2 to go, and I would like to give the floor to the East Med. I think, what is the East Med, the yellow ones? I also should learn these things by hand. Yeah, it's East Med.
Yes. Eric, hello. Can you hear me?
Not very well.
Okay, let me close my. Now?
Better, I think.
So let me share my screen. Just a moment. I think that you can see my screen now.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, great. So I will be presenting the East Mediterranean cluster. Unfortunately, we didn't have much participation. We were only 7 to 8 people from the 4 represented countries. So these countries are 2 EU countries and 2 non-EU countries. We have Greece, Cyprus, Israel, and Turkey. And I have made a few slides, very quick slides, just to highlight some facts about the agriculture in these 4 countries. In our regional cluster, we have digital innovation hubs, competence centers, and a large number of SMEs, which was also indicated in statistics of the open calls. We were one of the 3 top regions in terms of participating SMEs. Let's start with Greece. So I have here some statistics about the agriculture sector in Greece, the number of farms, which is 679.1 thousand, a total agricultural output in 2019 of more than 10 billion euros, and you can see that a large percentage is of olive oil, fruits, vegetables, and horticultural products. And then we have milk, cereals, and so on. For Cyprus, on the other hand, it is a smaller economy of total output in 2019 of 691 million euros. You see milk is a very large percentage, fruits, poultry, pigs, and other sectors of agriculture. Going to Turkey, which is the world's 7th largest agricultural producer, with a large range of agricultural commodities: hazelnuts, apricots, lentils, cherries, figs, olives, tobacco, and tea. There are approximately 3 million farms in Turkey, and on the right you can see cereals and other crops have for 2016-2017 the larger production, vegetables, and then fruits. And the exports of agricultural products in Turkey topped 15 billion in 2017. We can see it's a very large economy in terms of agricultural output. And then we have Israel, which you can see that it has increased its cultivated area from the time of gaining its independence to 165,000 hectares, from 165,000 hectares to 400,000 and 35,000 hectares. And the agricultural communities have also grown. You can see that vegetables, tomatoes, and melons have dominated production in 2010 to 2014. And then you have a total output for 2015, for example, at 29.460 million. I'm not sure how to. I think it's shekel. Sorry for that, my Israeli friends. Now, all these four countries have a large percentage of farmers sticking on traditional practices, but there is an emerging scene of digital technologies and robotics, with manufacturing being more active in Israel and Turkey. And then I would like to go to the Slido results, what the discussion brought up. You can see here that we had private knowledge broker in 25%. We also had research organization company centers mostly. And you can see also that we had 80% male, 20% male and 20% female in our participants. A very small group, but okay, it's what we could do. For the sectors that are key in our region, we have 80% in orchards and also 60% arable farming, open field horticulture 40%, and also livestock, and another 60% in viticulture, protected horticulture in 40%, and I'm sure we have also aquaculture in our region, but it wasn't mentioned in the poll. Going to the strong points of the region, the participant mentioned the early production, wintertime vegetable production, which we have also high quality olive oil in the region, and sheep meat and milk, value crops and high exporting capabilities, and also the biodiversity in the region, which has to face a lot of problems to be solved. Then what to do to boost research and development? Several points were brought up. We have to foster networking between SMEs in research of extra funding. We have to identify the needs and the bottom level in a bottom-up way, and then customize the support in tech and solutions. The local markets play a very important role, so as to support them in order to boost available budget for R&D. And of course, the needs of the market are the most important for the focus on innovative solutions. We have to listen to farmers and producers and recommend technologies according to individual and specific needs. Also, a point was that we have to listen in a balanced way, both crop and livestock farmers. We have to train and educate farmers and push decision makers for increased budget, and also make sure that we have the means to for the uptake of solutions when it is immediately needed. This is referring to recovery operation, climate, and other situations that are pertinent everyday procedures, such as the pandemic, for example. What to do to boost the uptake? Demonstration and trainings were mentioned as the most important for the presentation of novel equipment, collaborative workshops with farmers from projects like agROBOfood and other projects like agri-hubs or IOF, for example, to boost networking and engage the market. Also, the knowledge transfer, the cross-border knowledge transfer between countries and organizations. It's also mentioned the importance of the local level. The local and the small audiences need to be engaged in a very careful way with selected audiences that we listen. We should listen to their needs and not start in a larger level. We have to start from a very small local level and try to understand the basic needs of stakeholders and then try to address them in the appropriate way. Education, or the farmers, as mentioned, closer collaboration between local academic and research organizations with the local farmers and SMEs. And of course, a great problem for the excuse me, for the region is the brain drain, which we have to deal with, and we have to come up with motives and priorities for young, educated and skilled people to stay in rural areas and support local economies. Also, it's mentioned that we should engage media and have as wide a dissemination as we can. And also there was mentioned an app from India. I'm not very sure what this is about, to be honest, but we can discuss it if it comes up later in the plenary, and the people and the person who wrote it may have some more information about what this means. Now to the questions and ideas to agROBOfood as a whole. We have several propositions from our participants towards the agROBOfood consortium. An idea was that the associated partners should occupy a place in the website so that they have a more personalized page as an associated partner, and so they can demonstrate their capacity and benefit from the project in terms of exposure. This could be maybe in the website or the base camp that we already have, for example. Another one was to try to connect SMEs with the industry in research collaborations to better connect this industry. Propose a way for SMEs from different regions to perform R&D together, so we have the cross-border criteria, but this is mentioned that we should do it outside of the frame of the open call, so that we should propose some ways to benefit more and after the open call of this project. And of course, the local needs, try to define the local needs and educate, train local stakeholders and engage media, organize webinars, but in a local level, but get invitations and maybe organize it from the point of view of project coordination. Maybe the point here is to have local webinars, but supported by the coordination of the project as to be more, attractive, maybe, or be more sure that people will join and find it interesting. This is a thought that is a thought for me, to be honest. So these were the ideas towards the agROBOfood project, and I would like to thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Michael. We will take the points as you mentioned, but we do not have time for questions. I would like to give directly the floor to France and Italy.
Of course, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, so I am sharing my screen.
Yes, I can see you, but not your screen.
Yeah, it's loading. Actually, the connection, I think I will just deactivate my camera. It seems to be very low. Okay.
So
Okay.
infrastructure in France is one of the topics.
Okay, so now you should be able to see my screen.
It's coming, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, it's there. Perfect. You can start.
Okay, thank you. I will start quickly with our regional characteristics for France and Italy. Maybe before I start, I have to say that I have to apologize if I miss any important information because Frédéric Coledani, who is our regional cluster leader, is absent. So yeah, we try to gather the maximum information, and sorry for any missing information. For our region, the main productions in France and Italy are vegetables, wine, and cereal. Animal productions take a more important place in Italy, more than in France. Several technologies and research activities are developed in viticulture, horticulture, field crops, in addition to digital processes and orchards. Regarding the network, sorry if you don't see the logo, and yeah, I think not all the members are represented here. But the message is that agROBOfood plays a crucial role in France with 65 members. The members have complementary skills. They are robotic startups, agricultural machinery and electronics manufacturers, research and teaching laboratories, competitiveness clusters, and agricultural production structures. The goal of the activities of agROBOfood is to understand the needs and to define challenges with the know-how of the members to address them. In Italy, there are research institutes, and yeah, we received some information that I didn't have time to process, so sorry for that. Next time, this presentation will be complete. Regarding our Slido session, so we didn't have many participants, but the discussions were really interesting. I think we had a fruitful meeting regarding the participants. So we mainly had attendees from research organizations or competence centers. We had more male than female. So regarding the sectors, we had the answers about arable farming, open field horticulture, livestock, orchards, protected horticulture, viticulture. So these are the main sectors that were cited in our region. Okay. So regarding the strong points of our regions, so we had the answer that several startup companies are developing agricultural robots. There is much interest in innovation for high-value crops. Mobile Robotics Research Association of Agricultural Manufacturers, agROBOfood, for instance, agricultural sector in general, so is very developed. We have many research capabilities. and active implication of companies on standardization issues. There are several meetings that are organized and initiative that is that was organized, I think, in the last few days. Also, producers of large machines are present in the region. This is mainly in Italy, with the example of CNH. Okay. It's taken some time to switch the slide. So what to do to boost R&D? The main, I think the first comment that we had is that we need to enhance the link between farmers' needs and research. We need to reduce the gap between farmers and researchers, and to make them communicate together to foster this communication. Maybe by defining a common roadmap. And organize workshops in coordination with farmers' organizations to raise awareness about robotic solutions available at high TRL level to foster collaboration and investments. We also had the comment that we have to look how to mutualize some R&D developments, for instance, vision, obstacle detection, and safety also. We had a very interesting idea about a living lab. So putting the actors together and make them produce something together in a harmonized context. And we also need to define the portfolio of services and technologies to highlight the improvement that we would like to achieve. Okay, to boost uptake, we had, I think these answers were also mentioned in the other presentations. So hackathons on new concepts and solutions based on user needs. Then we had also a question about how to promote development of affordable, cheaper solutions. Maybe we can identify needs that could be covered by such machines. So the idea is to adapt the market to the farmer's budget investment and to adapt the cost of machines. So we need maybe a business study about this. A call for farmers volunteers for a hackathon, for example, that will serve as a demonstrator for other farmers. So this could be a possibility to show, to make robotics more concrete in real settings. And also something about, we had also a comment about the role of competence centers. Maybe the farmers have to try the robots in realistic settings to adopt the solution. So maybe the competence centers could provide this. And finally, the questions and ideas to agROBOfood as a whole. We had the comment that we need to improve maybe the involvement of DIH and competence centers to encourage the members' participation in our region. Improve networking between the digital innovation hubs and competence centers. So maybe putting in contact the members together. We can. The members can benefit from the contact with business actors that have better vision of the market. We also have a large numbers of small farms in Italy, and the comment was that there is a lack of scale-up solutions. So maybe how can we find a solution for that? How can we help the farmers, the small farms, to imagine a suitable solution for them? The living lab is also could play an important role to put the actors together and find the suitable solutions for farmers. And also digital farms can be a good place to enhance agriculture. Finally, we had a comment about the access to Basecamp. So I think thanks to the introduction this morning, the participants were aware of the presence of Basecamp and that there is a base of documents. And they would like to, so maybe if we can have, I think this was also another comment, if we can have a video or documentation to guide the members through the existing documents, that would be great. Yeah, so that's all for me. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah, thank you very much, Selma. So it's already time, so I have to conclude directly. What I will do is that especially from all the regions, the points that were pushed to agROBOfood as a whole, I will make a list of these items and try to answer all the questions and the actions that will be taken by the agROBOfood project as a whole. Of course, we also targeted regional specific items, and I really would like to encourage all regional cluster leaders together with their digital innovation hub, set up new meetings and make your regional plan for the coming year. So what kind of activities are you now really going to start to boost R&D and to boost the uptake in your region? Do this in a local level as possible, so even distributed to countries or even sub-countries. Make a plan for that, and then of course when there are some things you really would like to do it as a agROBOfood as a whole, bring them again up to me as your network coordinator or up to the project, so that we can also organize these kind of things. At least what should be very important is that we get this thing running. I think now and it's not bad what we are doing. So we just started 1 year. We set up all these formal mechanisms, the website, portal services, and so on. So this is where we are now. But the second and third year should be the year that we load our network with new hubs, interesting projects, good use cases, more funds. And this is where we are now. And this can only happen when we have an action plan for that. And I think these action plans should also be made at a regional level. So if your region is not active enough, push your regional cluster leader, and he should at least organize an event. And I will also, we have now a very nice presentation of all regions we can start the next meeting with. So this is what we have identified and what will be our plan. I think that will be the main topic of everyone on the regional level, to fill it in, to really make action out of that. And I will also do that for my region. I will schedule a meeting for the Northwest European region to discuss this further, to elaborate a little bit more on here, and make concrete actions. And some of the actions are already progressing, and I already had also a few other meetings this week where we are already preparing new webinars, also on the regional and national level. I think it's very good to share this with each other and to get a lot of activity around the agROBOfood as a whole. I think the nice opportunity we have as agROBOfood is that robotics in agri-food is still quite new. So also the landscape is not too big and doable, and everyone is now looking how this could work. So it's a new area for everyone, more or less. Not completely true, but at least everyone is exploring and feeling that there's a big boost in agri-food robotics. And that's an opportunity to find each other and to team up and to make, and I think Europe has a wonderful position compared to Asia and even the US, where they don't have even machine builders on agriculture almost. So, and paying way too much to startups in agri-food. And we have much more technology and power to be, but we are getting behind to China, where they pump a lot of money in this economy as well. But we have the knowledge, and we should really bring this forward to the future. So I really would like to encourage encourage everyone to make very good action plans on the regional and even national level. Bring it up, start use cases, look for each other, use Basecamp also to go throughout of the network, use your regional cluster leaders to help you. And yeah, and let's also start new activities on getting all the 93 proposals running, so to say. If you have questions, please send them to me, or remarks, ideas. I'm sorry that we do not have time anymore to discuss, because I thought it would be most valuable at least to understand what the regions are doing at the moment. And hopefully we can next time, we will probably do this once a year at least, that we have all the regions together, but most activities should be taking place in the regions, and the regional cluster leader will meet each other more often on that level. Next call deadline was a question. Next call is on industrial challenges that will open in October, and the next open call for all the initiatives will open in January, and that's also the last call. So one call in October for specific challenges. So for example, spot spraying. So we have identified a few challenges provided by the Industrial Advisory Board, and that will start in October. And the open call for every initiative on robotics, the same as the first call, will open in January. Yes, I hope this is not too rude to stop at once, but I think concerning time, it's Friday. Enjoy your weekends. Thank you all. Perhaps because I'm the last event, I think, Kees, perhaps you would like to end. Would you like to close, Kees?
It's not necessary, but being active the whole week, seeing a lot of discussions, webinars. So this was also an experiment how to deal with a digital meeting of the whole project. So I've seen a lot of activities, impressive progress on different topics. It really shows the variety of the network and the topics we are dealing with. And I hope it will taste to more activities, and then to be active and to become more active also in the second year. So I would like to thank everybody in preparing these webinars, these meetings, also in supporting these meetings. So there was also a team behind it, and people hardly see them, but it is really a challenge to organize this. So thanks for that. And yeah, hopefully next year, we will have a physical meeting again. But we have to wait for that and to find out. And in the meantime, don't stop to interact and work on robotics in the agri-food sector. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Bye to all, and you can now leave the meeting.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. See you.
Bye-bye.
Goed gedaan, Erik.
Netjes.
Ja. Hey, Jos.
Erik, we hebben een hoop geleerd van deze sessie. Er is heel veel commentaar gekomen.
Erik. Ja, Erik, je hebt je microfoon dicht, dus wij horen je niet.
Ja.
En ik heb ook een heleboel geleerd voor ja, wat iedereen nodig heeft. Hè? Ik had opgeschreven, even kijken, Mensen willen materials, expertise, matchmaking, money en exposure. Een paar van die kreten.
Ja.
En ik zit te denken om onder die kreten al dat commentaar proberen te ranken. En van daaruit te kijken welke tools en zaken we allemaal moeten gaan opzetten. Want het komt allemaal bij een aantal thema's uit.
Ja.
En ik denk dat dat enorm helpt om onze visie neer te zetten over wat het netwerk nou aan tools en services enzovoort moet gaan opzetten en waar we onze prioriteiten moeten zetten. Mensen zoeken iets en anders komen ze niet. En dat is kennis en kunde en geld en samenwerking. Dat zijn de dingen die iedere keer terugkomen. Dus dat moeten we faciliteren. En we hebben wel de website en Basecamp. Maar die moeten we zo tunen dat het ook daarvoor nuttig gaat worden. En ik heb de indruk dat in het projectplan een heleboel dingen staan die uit Smart Agri-Hubs komen. Maar ik vraag me af of wat daarin staat, of ons netwerk dat per se nodig heeft. Ik heb dat Star Ranking System gehoord dat dat eigenlijk helemaal niet nuttig is. Gewoon vertellen wat je kunt en zorgen dat mensen je vinden. En dat er geld te vinden is enzovoort. En dat als ze wat willen weten over techniek, dat ze het kunnen vinden. En zo gauw als ze wat kunnen vinden bij het netwerk, dan groeit het. En ik denk dat daar de focus dit jaar echt op ligt. Hè? Het loaden van het netwerk. Maar je kunt alleen maar loaden als iedereen dat ook gaat doen. Dus dat zijn de dingen, denk ik, dat we vandaag geleerd hebben. En, is het opgenomen vandaag?
Ja, goed dat je het zegt, want ik moet de opname stoppen.